about that.
No worries. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm able to. That's wonderful. All right, I'm going to share my screen now. Hope you're able to see the screen. Let's get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. Oops. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening again, all of you. So, let's get started with our topic. What are we going to discuss today? Let's take a quick look at that. So, this is what we are going to discuss today. This knowledge. Who was the first student chosen by God to receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? Okay, this is what we are going to talk about. It'll make for an interesting discussion as well. The fact that Bhagavad Gita was revealed to us 5,000 years ago, you might think that was the start, but that's not the case. Okay, God revealed it whenever the creation comes about. In our Manvantar, He revealed it to somebody else initially, and then of course He reestablished that chain. That's what we are going to talk about today. Let me go back and pick up the shloka that we are going to go through, and then you're welcome to follow along. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Abravit. All right. Do we have any volunteers? Shamji?
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Sorry, Ashutosh, please go ahead. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Munirikshvakave Bravit.
Wonderful, very nice.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe Dinesh ji.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvana Manave Praha Manurikshva Kave Bravit. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, thank you. Radhe Radhe. Okay, we can pick up the remaining two more hands, I believe, 2 or 3.
Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, everyone.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Imam Vivaste Gam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ishva Kave Brave.
Very nice, Lakshmi ji. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Riya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vaivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vaivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Bhravi.
Very nice, thank you, Riya ji. Last 2 hands. Radhe Radhe.
Arun ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Bravit.
Wonderful, Arun. Very nice. All right, we have a duo party from Katra on the way to Vaishnu Devi. Go ahead.
Sandhya Shivali, Radhe Radhe.
Go ahead, please.
राधे राधे श्री भगवान वाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवान् अव्ययं विवस्वान्मन्वे प्राह मनुरीक्षा प्रभेवकृत्.
That was a good Jugalbandi you did. Okay, it was a tough shloka. Wonderful. I'm also basically speaking from, we are in the same state, by the way. I'm in Jammu right now. So just reached there today morning. Great. So let's get started. This shloka, Lord Krishna is saying that he's telling Arjuna that I taught this eternal science of yoga to the sun god, and his name, like we all have a name, we all have a form. Sun god also is like that. He also has a name. His name, the sun god, in reference to our Manvantar, his name is Vivaswan. And then who passed it on to Manu? And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So Ikshvaku is actually from dynasty of Lord Ramchandra, if you know that. Okay. He's from that dynasty. We'll talk about that. So this knowledge, even though it was revealed 5,000 years ago, it is not something that was revealed for the first time 5,000 years ago only. This knowledge is something which is re-established from time to time, as we will see. So let's get started. So this is what we are going to talk about. Who's the first one? As we have seen, it is none other than the sun god, whose name is Vivaswan. Okay? That's what Lord Krishna is saying. So knowledge, when we talk about knowledge, why is knowledge important? Knowledge is important for us to enhance our living experience, to enrich our life, and basically in order to attain anything in life. The first factor is to have knowledge. Maharajji, Swamiji also say that even in spirituality, the 50% of the battle is to get the right knowledge, bona fide knowledge, perfect knowledge, which is called Tattva Gyan. And remaining 50% of the battle is to implement it. That is the real thing. But knowledge is of paramount importance because that enables us to form a solid foundation, okay, on this path. If we don't have the right knowledge, then we may keep building a big building on top of it. When the foundation is not strong, it doesn't take us too far, right? So that is the importance of knowledge, and no different in path of spirituality as well. When we acquire knowledge of something, we can achieve it. That is the first step of it. And large part of human endeavor is in acquiring knowledge. Now, if you look at the hierarchy, we have spoken about it in the past as well. You know, the Purusha, Prakriti, Mahan, Ahankar. We have Pancha Gyan Indriyas, ear, skin, eye, tongue, and nose. So knowledge is happening to us, right? We smell something, we acquire knowledge. This is this fruit. When we see something, we acquire some knowledge. By tasting something, we acquire knowledge. By hearing and all that stuff. So all the senses are engaged in acquisition of knowledge. The tricky part is that most of the knowledge is happening to us. And when it comes to spiritual knowledge, it is said that we need to not just let it happen to us, but acquire it systematically and formally. Because we would let knowledge happen to us through these senses alone, then our senses are imperfect, the knowledge would be imperfect as well. Okay? So that is why the knowledge, spiritual knowledge, has to be acquired systematically, formally, and through a bona fide source. Then you will say, what is a bona fide source? So I'll not get too deep into that topic today. Bona fide source is a 3-filter test. Right? 3-filter test, like you have an RO water filter, you have a 3-filter. What is the first filter? First filter is scriptural. Does it have a scriptural reference, or somebody simply saying it? That is the first filter. Second is, have the sadhus said the same? Sadhus mean the saints who have descended periodically. Are they saying the same? And third is your guru. You know, if you have a reason to believe, is God realized, is saying the same. If all three are saying the same, then it's a good reason for us to for you to believe that it is bona fide knowledge. And the other aspect of it is you let it happen to you, which is anyway happening. Default mode is it's letting it happen to us, which happens. How does it happen? It happens to our friends, family, elders, Google, Instagram, social media, and a lot of based on our experiences as well, right? Which is fine, but then it could be imperfect, erroneous as well. And this knowledge itself tells us the differentiation between moksha, nirvana, enlightenment, or the parabhakti, all that aspect. The knowledge is very important to account. In this case, what Lord Krishna is saying is, let's see, he's saying now merely imparting invaluable knowledge to someone is not enough. Okay. The recipients of that knowledge must appreciate its value and have faith in its authenticity. This thing is very important. Because orator can go on and give the best of the knowledge. But if the recipient does not appreciate its value and it does not have a faith, nishtha, shraddha, then the magic will not happen. Okay. And in case of Bhagavad Gita, it's especially important because Lord Krishna has said that if somebody listens to Bhagavad Gita with faith, that itself is enough for them, because then I will sit in their buddhi and make that faith a realization. The faith is something you take a leap to begin with. Realization is something you don't need a proof afterwards. You just know. You know it's true. That's it. So how does that journey get bridged from initially putting a faith in something, listening to it, and then one day you don't even have to need a proof for that. It's like, I know this is a fact. This is a realization becomes. That journey is covered for you by Lord Krishna himself. Okay, you'll sit here, recite it, and make it pakka, that concept. That is the power of knowledge. Okay. And in Bhagavad Gita, when we listen to this divine knowledge, which is energized by God using his Chitta Shakti, it is super powerful. Super powerful. It will start clearing out all your cobwebs, giving you clarity, conviction, devotion, everything will start happening. That is the power of Bhagavad Gita. That's why I say, pick up recitation, and even if you're not doing it, just do it in your respective places, and before you realize it, it will become a second nature for you to look at those shlokas and recite it comfortably. Very, very powerful, even if you continue to do that with faith and conviction. So the key is invaluable knowledge is one aspect of this dimension. Having nishtha, shraddha, and sufficient contemplation where you truly understand its value is very important. See, we are wired such that anything that we find valuable, we automatically start having attraction towards it. Anything that we find valuable for our self-interest. And that is how we fell in love with so many material things around, including so many relationships. We thought it is valuable, it is going to serve my self-interest. And by that repeated contemplation in our head, we fell in love with that particular thing. Same is with this knowledge and with God as well. When we start understanding its value in our day-to-day life, by implementing it, the benefits that we get and understanding who God is, that itself will compel you to have, fall in love with him. That is how powerful this knowledge is. So let's move on. We spoke about knowledge because this is the knowledge that is imparted by God from time to time. What is his incentive to impart this knowledge? It's a manual he's providing. It's like there's a matrix, and I need to provide you the right knowledge so that you can continue to invest in yourself, and one day you will get your true inheritance in form of whatever all I have. I'll give it to you. Okay. So for that you need a knowledge, and that's why he keeps on imparting it periodically, because the chain gets broken. In knowledge, there is so much of transmission loss happen, vested interests take over, so many other factors come into play. Even now, if you look at Bhagavad Gita, it is the most translated book in the world. Any day you pick up, some scholar is coming on screen and giving their own dope on Bhagavad Gita. This is what it means. Krishna is this, real Krishna is this. He's an artificial Krishna. He's come under Maya. He's not God. So many interpretations around it, right? What do we subscribe to? That is the key here. Right? So humans, they have a tendency to add their own interpretation because of their 2-inch worth intellect. And then when the chain gets broken, Lord has to come down and re-establish it, the pure message again. And that is what he did 5,000 years back. But that doesn't mean this knowledge was not there prior to that. It was always there. Okay. So let's move on. And in this particular case, now only then will they put in the effort required to implement it practically in their life. They understand it, value it, and in the authenticity of it, and of course the message has to be pure. And in this verse, Lord Krishna is establishing the credibility and importance of spiritual wisdom that he's bestowing to Arjuna, and saying, okay, understand, appreciate, so that he can have that appreciation for this knowledge. It's not a regular knowledge, it's the knowledge that we get to discuss. It is actually graded in Bhagavad Gita as Guhya, Guhyatat, and Guhyatam. That means it is secret and super secret kind of a knowledge which people don't have access to. You can come around and meet so many people and friends and family around who will say, I've read Bhagavad Gita. But truly, if you basic things, even the basic import of it is not clear to anybody unless they have grace of Guru and unless they have come in contact with the bona fide source, right? The perfect way of understanding. Everybody claims to have read Bhagavad Gita, but if you ask them, the fundamentals itself will be completely flawed because they are coming in from some kind of a translation which is far, far from reality. Okay, now let's move on. Now, Lord Krishna is informing Arjuna that the knowledge being imparted is not newly created for the convenience of motivating him to battle. So he's telling Arjuna, don't think just I'm motivating him to battle, and that's why I'm telling you this. This is a knowledge which has always existed. Okay, I have imparted it much before you as well. Later on, he's going to tell Arjuna also, you know what? You and I have always existed. You don't remember everything, but I do. He's going to tell Arjuna that as well. Okay? Just tell who God is and what is the differentiation between us and him. So here also he's telling that it is not something new that I'm creating right now for you to motivate you into the battle. Okay, this is a far more deeper knowledge which has always existed. So what does he say then? He's saying it is the same eternal science of yoga that he originally taught to Vivaswan or Surya sun god. Okay, that's how he started this. And that you say Surya god, what before that? Of course, he would have recited it to, the previous Surya or somebody. But this is how he does that every time the creation comes about. And it is called an eternal science of yoga. Science of yoga, this is, Bhagavad Gita is called the Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra means it has two aspects to it. One is the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the divine, and second is the practical aspect of it. Okay, what do you need to do on a day-to-day basis? Both aspects are covered. So it's called the Yoga Shastra as well. Very, very practical. Okay. Nothing to do with some high-level principles. Very practical in your day-to-day life. And he said it's revealed to Vivaswan. And then from Vivaswan, it got imparted to Manu, the original progenitor of humankind. Right? Manu, Manushya, even human, I think it comes from human, Manu probably, I don't know. And then Manu in turn taught it to Ikshvaku, the first king of the solar dynasty. Here, same dynasty which got the privilege of having Lord Ram down the line as well. Okay. So Ikshvaku, then this is how it got transferred. So moving on. Now this is how the chain gets established, from one to another, to another, to another, through oral tradition. We have spoken about how this knowledge gets disseminated. Now you may say that, I think this question came up some time back. How about Chinese whisper? Somebody has diluted this knowledge or added there. In this case, that's not the case because this gets transmitted from sages to sages to sages. And when it gets sufficiently diluted, because when that sage chain can get broken, right? Like we see even in our times. And when it gets sufficiently diluted, where no more bona fide knowledge is available, everything is an interpretation, then God comes and reestablishes it. He finds a way to reestablish it. He will send either a saint or descend himself or find a way out because God, anyway, it's his creation, right? He knows how to reestablish it. But the key is this gets passed on from sages to sages. And these sages are not ordinary people like us who will hear today and forget tomorrow or hear something and interpret something else. These are sages who could get the import on it in complete authenticity. And then it keeps on getting transferred. And whenever that chain is broken, God establishes it like he did 5,000 years back. Okay? So this is how the knowledge gets transferred. And this is called the descending process of knowledge, where someone who is perfect authority on the knowledge passes it down to another who wishes to know. Okay? It is descending process. because the knowledge is established. There is no experimentation that is going on. I hope you're able to understand that. There is a descending process and then there is an ascending process. Science is an ascending process where, as the new frontiers of knowledge are broken or understood, the knowledge keeps on getting fine-tuned. But in this case, nothing new is being added. It's like once said, done. No revisions, no edits, nothing. So this is called descending knowledge, and this is a perfect knowledge that one can tap into as well. So I'll not get too deep into the two different kinds of knowledge because it's a topic we have discussed in the past. Maybe we can bring it to some other session as well. But yeah, let's understand this is a descending. This is how it gets passed from tradition to tradition, and through sages, it is how it gets communicated. So in this case, it's saying that now let's understand who's Sun God. He's the first chosen one by God as the first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The question is why? Why Sun God? Right? Why not somebody else? Why not Moon God, by the way? By the way, when Lord Ram descended in Suryavanshi, then Moon was complaining, right? That why did you descend in my dynasty? Okay, when he said, okay, next avatar I would Yaduvanshi. I think that came from Moon dynasty, but Ramchandra said, to make up for it, what I will do is, I will put Chandra as a prefix to my name, okay? So that you are happy to. He put Ramchandra. Although he was Suryavanshi, he put Chandra to his name as well. Okay, let's continue. Now, in this millennium, is known as Vivaswan. Now, let's look at some of the other references. See, Lord Krishna, Bhagavad Gita is called the distillation of all the scriptures, all the Upanishads that we have. It's like if all the body of our literature, of our scriptures, the Vedic knowledge, Upanishads, everything is like a cow, then Krishna is the milkman and Arjuna is the calf who's devouring that. So even in Brahma Samhita, it is, if you look at it, Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is saying the same thing. He's saying, let me worship, Lord Brahma said. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govind, is referring to Krishna, okay? Establishing his position as the Parampurush or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all the planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and traverses its orbit in obedience to his order. So sun is basically the ruler of all the planetary systems, sun god, and that's why he imparted it, right? Jasya Raja Vesi Praja. So basically he said, okay, let me pick up the king and it will get cascaded down to the other levels as well. Okay, that's why I picked up sun for that matter. Okay, even Brahmaji has confirmed this. Yes, Monica ji, you had a question?
Monica ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe everybody. Nitin ji, just a question. Actually, this has been there in my head, but I completely forgot to ask you before when you were here. So, Prithvi Lok is called Mrityu Lok, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about the other planets? What role do they have in Brahman? Are they also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita or for some kind of role? Or
yeah, I think maybe you missed that session where I've spoken about in every Brahmand you have 7 celestial abodes, 28 Narak Loks, and then in middle is Earth, and then all that above planets, middle planet, lower planets. So every Brahmand has, and based on your karma, you get a boarding in one of those luxury jails or miserable jails, or mix of both. So maybe I can bring in that chart in one of the sessions. So yes, you do have celestial abodes, you do have hellish abodes, and you have 28 different kind of Narakloks as well. In every universe you have it, and we keep traversing, not necessarily in our universe, but to the other universes as well, in all those material realms. But I can bring in that chart for you.
okay, so that means there's life on other planet too?
But of course, we cannot rule that out at all. Okay, we have life on other layers, basically the upper heavenly planets where the celestial beings exist. Much better facility or luxury of life we enjoy, better bodies, no worry of diseases and stuff like that. And for that matter, there could be life on sun as well. What if somebody's body is made up of fire? We can't rule it out. We don't have the technology to know it as yet. But you can't rule that out. We can't imagine life means the way we see life. Right? If your body is made up of 5 elements. If somebody is made up of one element called fire, it can exist anywhere. If somebody is made up of air, You don't even see them, right? So yes, there are so many dimensions we are not even aware of, right? But yes, our scriptures tell us all the different abodes where you can rotate around basically based on your karmic cycle until you reach God realization. Then you are beyond all that material creation. But it's a good question, a good topic to discuss maybe in one of our sessions. Okay. So moving on, Sun is king of the planets. And the sun god at present, like his name is Vivaswan, he rules the sun planet, which is controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he who made Vivaswan, his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. And that's essentially what. So Gita is therefore not a speculative treatise for the insignificant mundane scholar, but it is a standard book of knowledge coming down from time immemorial. Okay. What we are reading is something God has created for our benefit only. That is what we are reading. Just honoring him itself is a big deal, because he comes and imparts his knowledge. And when we do that, we are actually aligning to his will when we are making an effort to understand this. That itself is very auspicious. So that's the whole idea of him telling this to Arjuna. And even in Mahabharata, in Shanti Parv, it says that in the beginning of the millennium, known as Treta Yuga, the science of relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave this to Maharaja Ikshvaku. And then the forefather of Raghu dynasty, which is Lord Ramchandra, where he appeared. So Bhagavad Gita has existed in human society from the time of Maharaja Ikshvaku. Okay, again, it goes on to confirm the same thing which Bhagavad Gita is saying. There's a complete coherence with regards to what you read in different aspects of our literature. So some people say, who knows, who has written it? Different people have written. Look at the consistency, because it's all compiled by one person, Vedvyas. Right? So there's complete consistency with regards to what is being said in Upanishads as well around this particular. The fact that this knowledge was first imparted by Lord Krishna to the Vivaswan, and then from him to Manu and Ikshvaku, that whole thing that has been established. Now let's get into some numbers, mind-boggling numbers here, okay? How much is it? 2.05 million years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. Then the age of the current Manu is calculated to last some 305 million years, out of which 120 million years have passed. Okay, these are some of the numbers. And accepting that before his birth of Manu, Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, son god Vivaswan. Gita was spoken about 120 million years ago, and in human society it has been existing for 2 million years. Okay, these are just rough numbers, nothing of significance. But people say Gita, there are people they'll come back, hey, this Bible came this 2,000 years back, or Quran came this many years back, Bhagavad Gita 5,000. What before that? You talk about this is all human created stuff. No, this knowledge is eternal. It is not human created. These are the numbers which tell you, for as long as the existence or our frame of reference can go back, scientifically or otherwise, this knowledge has always been there. Okay, it's not has been created just 5,000 years ago. Okay, so that's a very important thing to understand. There's an eternal knowledge, always established by God for the welfare of human being, for as long as it has been existing. Yes, Arun, you have a question too?
Yeah,
And it was yes, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and I'm saying it was re-spoken by Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000, re-spoken, not spoken for the first time. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So Nitinji, actually, just for understanding better, so this we're talking about Manu. This is not the current Manu, right? This is the Swayambhuva Manu, actually. Like in the sense, Vivaswan, Swayambhuva Manu. Which Manu? I'm trying to understand which cycle this is about, actually. Like how far it goes back.
If I were to guess that, it is referring to the Manvantar that we are in, 7th Manvantar, Vivasvat Manvantar that we are in. It is taking that as a reference probably, but I can double check that.
No, yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, it was just a curiosity kind of a thing. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. So Manu, Shatrupa, I think they come. It's probably the name remain the same, but I think the same thing repeats over as well. So this is the cycle. Quick reference for our cycle. We have Satyug, right? 172. Then we have Treta Yuga. Then we have Dwapar, and then we have Kali Yuga. Each one of it, if you look at it, it's twice the previous one. Not from Kali Yuga. If you start, everything is adding 4,32,000 years to it, right? So all of this actually comprises one Mahayuga. It all adds up to 4.3 million years. If you look at it, 4.32. Now, into 1,000 years, if you multiply it by 1,000, it becomes 1 day of Brahma Kalp, not even a night. Okay, and that is the largest unit of time known to mankind. And if you, of course, add night to it, then that is basically, and Brahmaji is a Chaturmukhi Brahma who goes on to live for 100 years. And this 100 year is one breath of Mahavishnu, right? Mind-boggling. If you just imagine if Lord Vishnu starts doing pranayama, what will happen? So one breath of Mahavishnu, that much things happen. We have no idea, right? These are all cosmic calculations, by the way. And we think we are a big deal. We have a lot, like when people say we are Kshan Bhangur or Char Dino, it's actually fact. It is not metaphorical alone. It's like we are like a blip in everything. 500 years, 5,000 years, 5,000 years is not too long back. Like in cosmic sense, Lord Krishna has barely returned to his abode and maybe having a sip of a green tea or whatever, and 5,000 years have passed by. It's not a huge line there. I mean, we went to Vrindavan just now, right? So Lord Krishna was traversing there. I mean, on those places not too long ago, if you think about it. But these are some rough calculations I'm giving you. Bhagavatam talks about it in great detail. We are in, and then this cycle, 1 day of Brahma, this creation comes about. So many things happen. One Kali Yuga has passed by. The 1,000 Mahayugas have passed by, actually. Not just one. And this is called 71 Mahayugas are called, I think, one Manvantar. And 14 Manvantars, 71 into 41 is 1,000, close to 1,000. That is how 1 day of Brahma comes. And we are in the 7th Manvantar right now. And our Brahmaji is 51 years old right now. We still have 49 more years to go. And similar to this Brahmaji, we have Brahmaji with 10 heads, 20 heads, 50 heads, 1,000 heads, million heads. We have and that whole creation is just about 1/4 of the entire creation. So it's mind-boggling. I mean, you can't even understand how grand what God is, okay? You know what this creation, all of that stuff is. And yet, he has given us a tool to do bhakti and build personal rapport with him one-on-one. Okay, that is the beauty of this path. So with that said, I'll take maybe let me pose a question here, bit of an interaction, because too much. So what differentiates Bhagavad Gita from regular self-help books? Let me tell you a story now. Okay, it's a pretty interesting story, and that would help you. This knowledge is important, right? So let me tell you a story to have a little bit of an interaction around this concept now. So, you know what? There was a boy who said, let me do some prank. So he went to a city, small town or a village, right? Or maybe school. He said, okay, let me release some goat there. So he put a goat there. And then he put another goat there. And then another goat. And then another goat. And then another goat. How many goats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goats. He put 5 goats there. But putting goat was fine. After that, what he did was he numbered them as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then with the last one, what he does 6. And when people wake up after the night, when he had placed all these things, the pandemonium broke. You know, we have got goats coming in our city or small village where they sue, right? Actually, he put it in the school, and everybody started saying, okay, let's catch them. You know, they're going to eat everything here out there in this field and all that stuff. So they start looking for the goats. And the pandemonium broke. They said, we have recovered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reported. Now they say, where's the 6th goat? They keep on searching for it. They're not able to find it. So what's going on here, basically? No, they said, where is the 5th goat? We have found all the goats, but 5th goat is missing. So what's going on here? We have no idea what's going on here, right? Anybody who wants to take this question and give their insights on this?
नितिन भाई क्या पता, या वो गोट मैं खुद ही हूँ, मैं गिनती भूल गया हूँ.
Whenever I bring in animals, Shyamji is always skeptical that, okay, end of the day, I'm going to map them to the animals. No, this is with a bit difference, of course. See, everybody is anxious and they are looking around desperately for the fifth goat because 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 have been recovered. Fifth is missing, right? So what's going on here? Yeah, I see a couple of hands.
Shirame ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. They're searching for
Radhe.
something that does not exist.
Good one. Let's come back to that. Thank you, Shiramya. Hope you have recovered from your travel fatigue. Let's hear from Sandhya and Monica ji as well. Yes. Yeah, Sandhya, go ahead. I'm glad you're able to attend on the way up.
Yes, Radhe Radhe. Fifth, that goat is basically creation of mind, right? I mean, as Sri
Okay.
Ramya ji said, that doesn't exist. So
Good.
it's just the
I
creation
think
of
it-
mind. Yeah.
Mhm. True, very true. And how will this drill they have undertaken, how will this drill stop? Basically, when will this drill stop? They will keep searching for it. Let's say they are on the hook. There cannot be any goats in their city. Okay, and it's very important for them to ensure that happens. This drill will continue unless something. I guess Monica, do you want to add something?
Monica ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Maybe I'm thinking too much, Nitin ji, but also I was thinking that they're paying attention to something that they're not even aware that it existed, not paying attention to what is there already.
True. I mean, that's another way of looking at it. Okay, we've got goats. So what if not finding one, right? Yeah, that's another way of looking at it. But yeah, let's say they have a reason to find all the goats and now they are on the hook to get all the goats recovered or get them, siphoned away from their town, then they are still missing one. Yes, Rahul? And then one more RTG and then we'll continue on this.
Rahul, boy,
I know we have a hard stop today. We have a time right now, right? So, yeah, we have 32 minutes. Okay.
There are a few comments in the chat from one of the participants from Vaishno Devi. When they hear from the authority, the creator of the goats, then only the drill will finish. Then
Very true. Very nice observation.
Ranpriya ji says an outsider has to prove to them as a guru.
True. See, you're thinking around that, right? And we are kind of in a similar situation, okay, is what I'm going to get back to, because
And I was
everything
thinking-
helps us reflect on something. Yeah.
I was thinking that the person who numbered those goats, once he realizes his mistake, then only this thing will, because he will be telling
Okay.
them, I
Yeah,
heard them
that's
incorrectly.
there as well. Yeah, very true. Yes, RTG and Shalini, real quick, and then we'll continue with this discussion. So RTG, what do you think? What's going on and how can we resolve this problem?
सेम एज राहुल जी सेड कि नंबरिंग गलत हो गया है। सिक्स्थ गोट ही नहीं है ही टोटल 5, लेकिन नंबर गलत दिए गए हैं।
नंबर गलत दिए गए, अब हो गया तो हो गया, अब क्या करें, राइट? ये बात तो है। ठीक है, we'll come back to it. We'll see what's going on here and what can possibly happen. Yes, Shalini ji. Actually, Preeti ji as well now. Yes, Shalini ji.
Radhe Radhe. So what I was thinking was that, the source of knowledge is so important. I think whoever numbered it kind of disseminating the wrong knowledge, and that's why, we should trust, the source should be right. Like Gita is one of the things which are true, it has come from time millennium.
True.
And so source is very important. Somebody numbered it wrong, we should not believe right away. So that's what I thought.
That is also there. Very true. Very nice. I think all inputs are valid. You're looking at it from all the perspectives, and that was the whole idea of bringing in that example, because we are also kind of in a similar syndrome right now. Okay. Yes, Preeti ji, wanted to add something?
No. The previous participant said it. It doesn't exist. The fifth god doesn't exist at all. And even if it exists, I think it is a Maya. That's it. Radhe Radhe.
Okay. Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Preeti ji. Okay, Shweta ji, let's take one more hand.
Radhe
Shweta
Radhe,
ji.
everybody. I kind of missed the whole part of the story, but what I'm extrapolating from the story is God is sitting within us and we are looking around.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good way of looking at it as well. So yeah, let me build on this, and then of course you can add your color to it as well. By the way, I think for the benefit, okay, before I went further into it, we have a hard stop today, right? I think we still have time. So tomorrow we'll not have session because I'll be traveling and I can't make it in time where I can get internet. So I just wanted to know, tomorrow we don't have a session. Day after we'll resume as usual. Now continuing, but I'll send a reminder as well so that you don't end up joining and seeing okay, the session is not there. We'll not have that session tomorrow, unfortunately, because I don't think I can get access to internet on time tomorrow. But yeah, let's continue on this discussion. So we are having similar kind of a syndrome here, right? We are searching for something which doesn't exist. So this is somebody has created. Now you may say, God, why did God create that, right? So in the Maya, when we are looking for happiness, it's not there. It's an elusive thing, creation of our mind or whatever, right? And unless we get the right knowledge, or unless this, whoever introduced this error, it comes back and tells you, by the way, it was just a prank, this drill will continue, right? In this case, God has not played a prank on us. Okay, it's not a prank. It's a well-designed game where all he expects us to do is to become better, right? And he will keep on sending the right knowledge from time to time. But yeah, we are having a similar kind of, we are finding something, trying to search for something elusive, which is happiness from this world, the mic world, and that is where knowledge comes in handy, right? Somebody spoke about the need for, I think Shalini said about bona fide knowledge. When you get bona fide knowledge and you say, okay, 5 good, it doesn't even exist here. What am I looking for here? If I have to really look for something, it has to be something else. Then this whole ignorance thing will get dispelled and we can get away from this drill, right? So there's no 5th goat here. It's just a prank. Life is not a prank. Maya is not a prank. It is designed for us for a reason. But that is where the knowledge comes in handy, right? Only knowledge can dispel our illusion around, what we are trying to achieve, with the hope that one day we will find that 5th goat. We will not never find that 5th goat. We are also searching for that 5th goat, not in one lifetime, but since eternal lifetimes, ever since Mr. Vivaswan was handed over this knowledge, and we were, our souls were replenished with newer bodies, and we have been searching for that 5th goat. Okay, that 5th goat doesn't exist, and that is why Lord Krishna comes and reestablishes this knowledge, telling you 5th goat doesn't exist at all. Okay, don't keep looking for it. Go beyond that. At least strive for the realization, and that is the purpose of your life, rather than engaging in a drill that will not lead you anywhere. It's kind of a wild goose chase. Okay, now any questions on what we spoke about? I know we covered a lot today, including the creation cycle, Vivaswan, and the knowledge that it, why it gets reestablished, and why does basically God have to reestablish it from time to time. Any questions around what we have spoken about today? We have a little bit of time where we can discuss, and then I know we have a hard stop as well in another 15 minutes.
इसमें राधे राधे, does it really matter to me कि मुझे ये पता करना है कि गीता कब लिखी गई, कहाँ लिखी गई, who was the first recipient?
नहीं,
नहीं. Believe it, it's okay with me, नहीं.
For you, it may not be relevant, but for Krishna, he's a good teacher, right? He's catering to all kind of students. A good teacher does not have a targeted student base. He will cater to everybody. So tomorrow, people may question, it's 5,000 only now. Why did God wait so long? Did he have people on their own after creation? So he's addressing that question very smartly. He's telling Arjuna, don't think this knowledge I'm talking for the first time and solely for the purpose of making you get to war. It goes much deeper, right? It's not just, see, he's utilized that opportunity, that perfect setting to impart this knowledge. That doesn't mean that setting alone was his objective. Propelling Arjuna to war was his only objective. That is essentially what he's telling. So he's tackling many questions in that particular verse. First of all, the eternity of this knowledge. Secondly, that it is not limited to, telling Arjuna go to war. It goes much deeper than that, as we will see, as we have seen, as we go through Bhagavad Gita. That is why he's telling it. And this question keeps coming up as well, right? People are, the other day, one of my close ones, he was asking me, what do we put 5,000 years? I said, yeah, exactly. Go to this verse and check it out. He said, it's not something which came for the first time 5,000. It has always existed, this knowledge. Okay, any other questions?
It doesn't matter to me कि कब आई, कैसे आई, क्यों आई. So depending on my situation, the way I am, as Arjuna was in the war field, so I can use it as to my capacity wherever I am in my life.
True.
Depending on my life.
For most of us, it may not matter, but yeah, Lord Krishna is addressing questions which could become relevant for somebody down the line, right? Now we say that, okay, we believe, we have heard about Mahabharata and we believe in you, but then he goes on to show his cosmic form as well. Because people question, what makes you think he's God? He showed his cosmic form to Arjuna so that tomorrow if somebody claims I'm God, then we can simply question them, can you show me your cosmic form? If they can, then okay, we may have a reason to believe, otherwise I won't believe. So he has done everything for a purpose. And like a good teacher, he has covered all the angles, all the aspects around everything.
Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
any other questions? Any other questions?
I guess nobody has some questions. They're all clear with your knowledge, with your lectures.
Okay, I don't know, it's a good thing or a bad thing right now, but all right. So let me, somebody has to ask a question now. Okay? One will raise and then 3 more hands will be raised, I have a feeling.
How do they calculate these years? But suppose
They have a,
how does one come to know that life existed about 2 million years ago? As far as we can go, as per history goes, what we have read in the school colleges so far, we haven't gone beyond certain time era, isn't it? Suppose.
So science, carbon dating and all those stuff is there. Maybe some scientists can talk more better than me on this one, but there are a few things. If we are limited by technology, we have to take it on the face value for now. I told you, right? Scriptures are like cooked rice. If part of it is cooked, rest of it is cooked as well. And one of the aspects you align with, then you can safely assume that is cooked too. Pending further. So there are few things that, maybe in the due course of time, science will figure it out and we may be able to validate it through our tools and apparatus that we have right now. Or some of the things will come apparent to us as we grow spiritually, and some would make sense when we realize God. Some of the questions would be answered then. Until then, we have to take it on the face value. We need to focus on the things that help us on devotion. These things are given. Or other way of looking at it is, people have put in documentation to the finer details, okay, for a specific reason. And I have a good reason to believe they did it with logical, sane thinking, and something that was imparted. That Vedas, he's himself an avatar of God who documented the scriptures, and I think a good enough reason for us to take a leap of faith there. Yes, Rahul.
Radhe, there is a question in the chat. How many years are remaining in Kali Yuga?
How many years? Yeah, it's a very simple calculation. So we are currently in 2023. So you subtract it from 4,32,000 years, you will get the answer. It will be probably 4,02,700, 3 lakh. What is 4,03,020, right? So 2,000 years you subtract from it. My math is not so strong. So to 4,30,000 years, I would say, less than 30,000, maybe 2,750 kind of a deal. 2,757, I guess, something like that. You can subtract it, you'll get the number. People say Ghor Kali Yuga has come, Kali Yuga is going to end. Okay, there are a lot of traditions in Sanatan Dharma who say that it's not going to end. Okay. It will not end until it's not even a toddler. I don't know if it's even learnt crawling as yet. There are so many eras yet to come, golden age and all that stuff. 4,32,000 years at a macro level, it is fixed. Okay, and it is perfectly under the control of God. At a micro level, we are doing tiny things. At a macro level, it is perfectly under God's control. Nothing is going to happen. I've given you enough examples around it, right? That British petroleum slick that happened, people said the aquatic life and pretty much the entire diaspora will get evaporated in that particular region. And they started worrying about ecological impact and stuff like that. And from nowhere, certain bacteria came. They ate those oil slick. Everything was restored within a matter of few years, and then they vanished. God only knows where those bacteria come. How did they eat all that oil and then they vanished? So it's all under God's control. And people worried that there will be a president here who will have access to nuclear codes, and he can bring in Ice Age fighting with the Rocket Man in North Korea. And then nothing of that sort is going to happen. It's God's creation. It's very much under his control. Okay. Small things can happen here and there, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik and all that stuff, but at a macro level, everything is under control. And in every era, people have this discussion. Even if you go to 60s or 18, Ghor Kali Yuga has come. Ghor Kali Yuga has come. But Ghor Kali Yuga will come when Kalki Avatar will come. It's better to get out of Kali Yuga before then and not repeat at that time when the Ghor Kali Yuga has truly come. Yes, Monica ji.
Before that, Urvi says historians are also mainly based on assumptions. They use archaeological methods, etc. And then whatever they see, they assume, and then the history we read it's correct, but not absolute. But there is an example. If we put a rocket and a bullock cart, airplane, car, etc., then what will people assume?
Yeah, it's a good, what will people assume based on their, Urvi, that's a very good question. I think that anybody wants to answer that? They can't. It's difficult basically. The truth actually it keeps on changing based on what you think know at that point. And history also keeps on changing as you discover more or newer facts about history. And archaeologically also things are limited, because even if you go to the Darwin's theory here, I don't know, I mean, that's controversial topic. But yeah, I'll take the liberty to talk about it the way Swamiji does. There were some missing links of fossils, right, which do not establish the chain of it. And then some doctoring happened to prove that theory, hypothesis around it. So things are there, but it is limited at that point because science is an evolving field. And even our knowledge as human intellect is also evolving, right? As it gets more and more understanding and truths, then it evolves as well. So then that perfect knowledge, for as long as we don't have it, we just have to take a leap of faith in what is being presented to us. Even history people, whoever is in the power, they dictate the history. There's so much of politics that goes around the history books and everything, you know that. Yes, Monica ji.
So Nitinji, as per so Dwapar Yuga comes after Treta, but then if you see Dwapar and Treta, was that a Kal Chakra spin or something? I mean, my papa used to tell me stories about it, but then Dwapar comes after Satyuga, right? And then Treta and then Kal Yuga. Did something happen which made Satyuga and then Treta and then Dwapar?
I think Ram Bhagwan came before Krishna avatar, right?
Yes.
Treta comes before Dwapar. So Ram Bhagwan came in Treta.
Yes. But then like how do, teen, and then char. So Dwapar, Treta, and then that way.
That way, okay, that and Dwa, though if you are doing it that way, then but if you look at it, Dwa means if I take the reference of Kal Yuga, right? So it is twice of Kal Yuga, thrice of Kal Yuga is Treta, and 4 times of Kal Yuga is Satyuga. If you look at it from the reverse cycle, then probably it makes more sense. So 2 times of Kal Yuga is Dwapar, 3 times of Kal Yuga is Treta, 4 times of Kal Yuga is Satyuga. So if I reverse it, then that Dwa right would make sense. But if you do the reverse, then of course it doesn't, right? But the fact is, Ram Bhagwan came before Krishna Bhagwan in this particular reference, right?
Right. And also, is it okay to say that this is the period now is Satyug of Kal Yuga? It is going to go bad.
I know Sandhi Yug. I know people say that. I don't know if there is some calculation around that. I think Brahma Kumaris, I've heard that now. So Sandhi Yug is happening and Satyug is going to happen. Maybe there are 4 calculations, but at a broader level, we are in Kal Yuga. Within Kal Yuga, if there are more bifurcation, I mean, more segmentation around certain yugas, and they have further subdivided it, at least I haven't come across it formally. I would clarify it from Swamiji if any such thing is there. Broadly, Kal Yuga now, if you want to define things within that as well, based on something, and is there a scriptural reference for it? I don't know about that.
So basically, I meant maybe the good times are now in Kal Yuga. It is going to go bad because food shortages have already started happening. So
you don't know. It may get restored, right? We are at 2,000 years. We still have more than 4 lakh years to go. You never know how God can restore the ecological balance and stuff like that. It seems right like that right now, but we don't know. Is it truly going downhill completely, or is it going to get resurrected and again start going downhill? Cyclical kind of a deal within Kali. We don't know that, right? But yeah, it seems a little bad right now for sure. But God had His ways of restoring stuff. Okay. Tomorrow there'll be a technology that will come that will run this cars. Electricity has already come, right? So Varun Dev, not Varun Dev, the Varun Dev will be very happy. Varun Dev is not very happy when so many emissions come to him. So he'll be very happy. And after electricity, you never know, there might be a project where automobile companies start coming up with vehicles which run on water and air. So God has his way of, putting stuff which continues sustenance for as long as he wishes. And then who will get picked up? That big person who will come up with that breakthrough technology, we don't know who God will pick up. He picked up Bill Gates to unify the technology in the world, because of which we are sitting here with Windows and talking to each other so easily. He may pick up somebody else for getting that done, right? Already there's a momentum picking up on the non-renewable, renewable energy side. We see that, right? So Vayudev will be very happy with that, progress that we are making. We have 3 more minutes, so maybe we can take one more real quick, because I have to hand it over for the next session. But yeah, good discussion today as well. Tomorrow, we don't have a session again, to reiterate. Day after we'll continue, and I'll send you the topic shortly. Yes, sir.
There is another question in the chat that I think many participants are very curious to know, to meet Kalki Avatar. So they are asking, do we know what years our Kalki Avatar will come?
They're very interested to know. They're interested to meet Kalki Avatar. I don't know, it's a good thing or a bad thing to repeat on this Mrityulok around Kalki Avatar. I don't know. I have no idea. Towards the end of Kali, probably will come. There's a mention on which village they say, in which horse he will. I haven't explored that much, but I would focus on getting out of this. If it works out, and then repeating, during the time of Kalki. Yes, Sunilji, real quick. We have 2 more minutes, I believe. Yes, 2 more minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Radhe Radhe. So just to add, I think, one thing that we can definitely say is, as the time progresses in Kali Yuga, the effect of Kali Yuga will be more visible and become more and more stronger until it ends. That's for sure. And I think that regarding the time remaining, I think roughly 5,000 years have passed in 4,32,000. So roughly 4,27,000 years is still left.
Yes,
so as it progresses, the effects of Kali Yuga will become more and more stronger. That is certain. And I think at the end,
5,000 years, not 2,000 years. 5,000 years have passed.
So yeah, 5,000 years passed. 4,27,000 years left. So, and I think like as it progresses forward, the Kali Yuga effect of Kali Yuga will be very, very strong. And almost at the end, 99.99% the effect of Kali Yuga will be seen. Then there will be the Kalki Avatar. The Kali Yuga will end, and then again the Satyuga will start, and then again the goodness, the Sattvic will again dominate.
Very true. By the way, end of the Kali Yuga, they say Earth will be, sun will be 10 times more hotter. People will have to go underground because it's become unbearable. Cannibalism will be promoted, right? And you'll have grannies and nannies at the age of 15 or 20. It's going to be really horrible, as certain projections are there. But before Kali Yuga ends, we will end our session, okay? Because we have another session coming up, and I want to give them time. But I look forward to seeing you a couple of days from now, because tomorrow's session, again, to remind, we will not have. I'll be traveling, and we'll see you day after tomorrow with another topic. We'll continue on this journey. So appreciate everybody's enthusiastic participation, like always, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a good day and a good rest of your evening, and you can stay back for the book club. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sunil.
Thank you, Nikhil Bhai. Wonderful session as always.